there are two groups of women, wives and everything else. Two groups of women, wives and everything else. You guys agree? Anybody disagree? Layla, you good?
I was massaging my shoulder.
Okay. All right. Do y'all agree? Disagree? What?
It
I
needs
mean,
context.
a wife and other women. This
Being a
Okay,
wife
I
So
go
are
ahead and
you
play.
saying
I
so
was waiting
basically
for the
We waiting
video.
we
saying
waiting for you to play the video, JR. The video, there's a video behind us, right?
We need the
I was,
video.
I was, I was trying to switch it up, man, because y'all have become too reliant on the video. So I thought
Now
that
we
maybe
spoiled the video. The spoiled us.
I thought we could have a natural, organic conversation just by with a scroll across the screen. So I was just trying to challenge y'all, you
Well,
know,
I think being a wife
because
is
I
something
think
that's in you. It's not something that you pick up and you put down. You don't take it off. You act like a wife, and despite your behavior or the experiences that you have had in one relationship or two, if it was bad, even if you go into the third one, you still inherently transmit those qualities. It don't stop just because he treated me bad. No, if you a wife, you always act like a wife. You always carry yourself like a wife, but you have to be the wife for the right man. If he don't see it, he not your husband. That's just what it is. He who finds the wife finds the good thing. You don't get to decipher if you get that ring, but what you do get to decipher is the behavior that transmits to getting the ring.
okay, let me go ahead and play the clip, man. I just
Paris,
you
go
know,
ahead, Paris.
next week I'm just gonna I'm gonna have no clips. We're just gonna just straight off the top of the dome.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
They go
that
to
sounds
clip, man, and it comes from the Godfather. So let me go ahead and play this.
What are women being told to do?
Oh, the Godfather.
Be sexually liberal in your, do what you want to do, date who you want to, hook up with who you want to. And here's my thing: there are two groups of women: wives and everything else. Wives and everything else. And if you're a woman that knows you want to be a wife, you need to act like a woman who's going to be a wife one day, because you're going to be judged as you're going to be evaluated as such. There's no I was young and dumb and I did this, I did that. Look, that game is over. Men are pulling men are pulling your cat facts. They're running your background and saying there's no way in hell I'm going to be on partner track at a law firm and I'm going to deal with you, and you used to date Nug Nug, or you used to do this, or you used to do that. Nope, you make me look bad. But let's stick in the middle. Focus on yourself. And what are we telling? We're telling women who got communication degree, criminal justice, social workers, teachers, women who are in that mushy middle. 74% of black women make less than $50,000. We're telling these women to delay relationship and marriage. For what? You ain't making no real money. I was talking to a woman the other day. I was like, how much money do you think you need to have stacked away to make marriage a safe proposition? She said, $100,000. $100,000. Now I want you guys to look at this. Let's just, for simple math, round up 37,000 to 40,000. That's a big jump. That's almost a 10% raise. But for simple math, let's say the average woman's making $40,000. How long would it take a $40,000 earner to stack $100,000 cash?
A lot of goddamn
Because
time.
you make 40, you ain't taking home 40, and you living at your budget. Most people don't even have the money to put away $500 a month. So how many months would it take to stack $100,000? So she said, well, maybe 50. Still, ladies, look in your checking account right now. And if you feel like you need to have a nest egg or something, why do you ladies feel like you need something in case when it's you walking away from relationships 80% of the time? I'll tell you, because it sounds good. Girl, do for yourself. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Look, I understand the impulse, but you also have to look at who's telling you this, ladies. And there's no reason for me or guys that think like myself to argue that.
All right, that's the context right there. Go ahead and dive into it. There are two groups of women, wives and everything else. Go ahead and go to Layla first. What are your thoughts about that? You're on mute, just so you know.
All right. You can hear me now? All right. So, my opinion on it is, I mean, I hear what he's saying. One thing I do agree with is this whole concept of waiting until you have a certain bag saved up to decide to marry someone. And you might be halfway through your life or whatever it is, however long, because naturally, Black women do make less money, unfortunately, compared to other people in the population. Um, but honestly, like I agree with that point. But as far as like everything else, like that's such a broad term to me. Like I do agree, like if you're a wife, you remain a wife throughout your whole, it doesn't matter if you're at work, it doesn't matter if you're in the store, that loyalty, what you carry yourself as remains the whole way through. If you're a hoe, you're gonna be a hoe when you wake up, when you go out to the store, when you're gonna be a hoe. But I just don't feel like a hoe and just a single woman working should be put in the same category because they're not wives. Does that make sense?
The reason why they're in the same category is because when you have kids, you know, we're talking about a family dynamic. What's a family dynamic if you're not a wife? So that's what makes it different. You can co-parent all you want to. People do it all the time. People get married and divorces and they have to co-parent. But I'm saying, like, we're just talking about just a wife. Let's forget about the negativity part, like you getting a divorce and now you have to split. Wife is a wife to a husband. Some wives have kids. So, you know, we want to just talk about family dynamic. That's how that happens. So everything else just means you're just not in a family, a proper family dynamic. You're just kind of like, you know, doing things on your own. You might have to use the system, you know, get on welfare, you know, do that type of stuff. Instead of being like a wife, you are sharing things. So if you're working, you're splitting bills, splitting everything with your husband, or you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, but you're doing something with somebody else. Like you're
do this. Get on.
oh, you're you're doing it with the person that you are, you know, wanting to be with instead of doing it all by yourself. Kind of like what I think Paris was talking about. Most of this stuff, black women, women in general, they're doing a lot of stuff by themselves and they struggling out here and they don't want to do this. They have no respect, right? You know, the work ethics is trash because they have to worry about, I gotta go take care of my kids, run and take them to, you know, their practices by themselves. They're hurting themselves in that way. And if we're just talking about the topic, but you know, wives, they actually have another person to help support them instead of trying to survive.